My brother SA'd my fiancée at our parents' party and thought he'd get away with it. My parents defended him, insisted it was her fault, and tried to silence us. But when the jury declared him guilty and their business collapsed, they finally learned what loyalty really costs. I'm 29, work as an aviation maintenance technician at a regional airport, and I grew up as the permanent runner-up to my older brother Cole, the golden child my parents still worship. I was the kid who took apart engines. He was the one they bragged about at every church event. 4 years ago, I met Luna, now my fiancée. We've been engaged 8 months and plan to get married in October. She teaches 3rd grade, I keep planes in the air, and together we'd mapped out a life that felt solid. A house with a yard someday, maybe 2 dogs, kids when we felt ready. My older brother Cole is 34, high school quarterback, business degree, middle management at a regional bank. My parents worshipped him. I was the kid who preferred taking apart engines over throwing footballs. Went to technical school, built a solid career working with my hands. They never said I disappointed them, but I felt it at every family dinner. Cole was up for branch manager, big promotion. My parents had been hyping him up for months, using his success to boost their standing in the community. My dad's consulting business relied on those connections. Everything was tied to Cole's reputation. My parents threw themselves a massive 35th anniversary party, rented this backyard venue with string lights everywhere, invited 60 people, every aunt, uncle, cousin, family friend they'd accumulated. Complete spectacle. Cole showed up with his wife Vanessa. Luna wore this blue dress she'd been excited about for weeks. We got there around 4 in the afternoon. Weather was perfect, mid-70s. My mom was already 3 glasses deep into champagne by 5, telling everyone about her perfect marriage. My dad worked the grill like he was running for office. Cole arrived fashionably late, made this grand entrance around 6, worked the room like a politician, gave some speech about family legacy that made me want to fake a medical emergency. Party ramped up after dinner. DJ played Journey and Bon Jovi. Luna and I stayed mostly on the edges. She talked wedding plans with my cousin Jenna for a while. Around 7:30, I noticed Cole watching Luna. Not casual glancing, actually tracking her movements. When she laughed at something Jenna said, his eyes didn't leave her. Something about it felt wrong. Around 8, Luna pulled me aside. She looked exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes. Rough week at school. I need 5 minutes away from this, she said quietly. My head's killing me, and I think if one more person asks when we're having kids, I might actually lose it. I smiled despite myself. Go inside. Main building has some quiet rooms in the back. Take 20 if you need it. I'll check on you soon. She squeezed my hand, kissed my cheek, and disappeared into the main building through the side entrance. I watched her go, made a mental note to check on her, then got stuck in conversation. My dad's friend wanted to pick my brain about new FAA certification requirements. I glanced at my watch. Yeah, the new regs are a pain. Basically just more paperwork. Kept it short, but he kept talking. Almost 30 minutes passed before I realized I should find Luna. The building had a long hallway with about 7 small rooms branching off. The venue manager mentioned this wing was closed for events, used mainly for storage and admin offices during the week. Most doors were dark. I walked slowly, checking each one. Empty, empty, dark. Then I heard something that made everything else disappear. A voice. Her voice. Saying words that stopped my heart. Stop. No. Please. The sound was coming from the last room at the end of the hall. Door closed. I grabbed the handle. Locked. I heard Luna cry out again, and everything went red. I threw my shoulder into the door. Once. Twice. The frame splintered and the door burst open, deadbolt tearing through the wood. Cole had Luna pinned against the wall with his full body weight. His hand was clamped over her mouth. Her dress was torn at the shoulder and pulled down, exposing her bra. His other hand was groping her chest. She was crying, tears streaming down her face, trying desperately to push him away, but he had her completely locked down. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe properly, couldn't scream. Her eyes found mine in the dim light, and I saw pure terror. Everything went red. Vision tunneled. Ears started ringing. I didn't think, just moved. Grabbed Cole by the back of his shirt collar and yanked him off her so hard he stumbled backwards and slammed into the opposite wall. He turned around with this confused look on his face. Opened his mouth to say something. I didn't let him finish. Hit him square in the jaw with everything I had. All my weight. All my anger. All those years of being second place. He dropped like a stone. I followed him to the ground. Hit him again. And again. His nose broke with a crunch I could feel through my knuckles. Blood everywhere. Spraying on my hands. his expensive shirt, the floor. He tried to cover his face, but I kept going. Every family dinner where I didn't matter. Every time my parents chose him over basic decency. It all came out through my fists. Someone grabbed me from behind, yanked me off with considerable force. My cousin David, probably. Big guy, works in freight management. He was yelling something, but I couldn't hear words. Just noise. My ears were ringing too loud. I went to Luna immediately. She collapsed into me, legs giving out, shaking uncontrollably. Couldn't form words, just made these gasping sounds. People flooded the hallway. Had to be 20 relatives. My mom screaming. David on his phone calling 911. Cole couldn't sit up, kept slipping in his own blood. My mom pushed through the crowd and saw Cole on the floor. Ran to him and dropped to her knees. Started touching his face frantically. What happened? Who did this? Oh God. Cole? She looked up at me, saw the blood on my hands. Understanding dawned. Her expression shifted to pure hatred. What did you do to your brother? Ask him what he was doing when I walked in. Cole would never... There must be some confusion? She looked past me at Luna, at her torn dress, her tears, her terror. For a second, I thought maybe she'd see the truth. Instead, did you maybe misunderstand his intentions, sweetheart? Did you say something that made him think you wanted... Get away from her. I stepped between them. Voice came out cold, dead. Get away from her right now. My dad arrived, pushed through the crowd, saw everything. Cole bleeding, me with blood on my hands. Luna crying, the crowd watching. His face went through calculations. How to spin this, how to minimize fallout. Luna finally spoke. Barely a whisper, but everyone shut up to hear. She told them everything. How Cole followed her inside, cornered her in that room, locked the door, grabbed her when she tried to leave, covered her mouth when she screamed, tore her dress pulling it down, groped her, said she'd been teasing him all night, that she wanted it. How she fought, but he was too strong. My mom started crying, but not for Luna, for Cole, for his face, his career, the family image. Sirens getting closer. The party was over. Everything was over. Cole looked at me once. Just once. I saw nothing in his eyes. No remorse, no shame, just confusion. Like he genuinely couldn't figure out why I was so angry. That look burned into my memory. I knew he didn't think he'd done anything wrong. Never would. And I knew this was just the beginning. Cops separated everyone. 2 young officers took Luna's statement first. She repeated everything with details that broke her voice. They photographed her torn dress, the marks on her shoulder and chest, her face, the bruising starting to form where Cole had grabbed her. Then Cole, his destroyed nose, split lip, the blood. The officer asked me straight if I did that. Yes. Why? I told him exactly what I saw. He nodded and wrote it down. Paramedics loaded Cole up for the hospital. Concussion, stitches, nose needed setting. My mom tried climbing into the ambulance. They let her. When the female officer finished Luna's statement, she asked if Luna wanted to file a report. Luna looked at me, then back at the officer. Yes. And I want a full forensic exam. I want documentation of everything. Photos, DNA, medical records, all of it. The officer looked surprised. Most people in shock don't think that clearly. I'm not letting him walk away from this, Luna said. Her voice was steadier now. I want every piece of evidence documented. The officer made calls. We went to the hospital for a sexual assault exam. 3 hours later, we left with a folder full of documentation. Photos of bruising on her chest, shoulders, and arms. Skin cells under her fingernails from fighting him off. Marks on her neck and mouth. Medical notes describing defensive injuries, consistent with her account. Everything time-stamped. Vanessa showed up at the hospital. Found us in the waiting area. What happened? Nobody will tell me anything. I gave her every detail. She stood there processing, then walked out without a word. We found out she drove straight home, packed, and filed for divorce within 48 hours. Cops took me to the station separately, photographed my split knuckles, had me write my statement. They mentioned the forced entry damage to the door frame, the deadbolt torn through the wood, said the state would likely bring charges against Cole once he was released. Am I being charged? Probably not given circumstances, but it's not our call. 2 days later, Cole filed a counter-complaint, claimed I attacked him unprovoked, claimed he and Luna were just talking when I went psychotic. His lawyer was already spinning. Suddenly, I was a potential defendant. My lawyer said it was desperation, making it look like a mutual fight instead of me stopping an assault. My parents called the next day. My mom had this eerily calm voice. We need to talk about how to handle this. Handle what? Cole assaulting Luna? It was inappropriate, yes, but we need to keep this private. If this goes public, we lose everything. Your father's business, Cole's promotion. Luna already gave her statement to the police. The calm cracked. You're being vindictive. You're tearing this family apart over what? Say it. Silence. Blood is thicker than water, my dad said in the background. I hung up. The venue had security cameras. Prosecutor requested footage. Cameras covered the hallway. Should have shown Cole following Luna, the timeline, everything. 2 days later, I got a call from my lawyer. His voice had this edge to it. The venue owner says he can't find the footage. System might have malfunctioned. He's still looking. That's convenient timing. Very. Long pause. Someone got to him. Without that footage, the timeline became harder to prove. Cole's lawyer jumped on it immediately. Luna's torn dress became critical evidence. Defense hired their own expert who claimed it could have ripped during my fight with Cole, that the forensic evidence was ambiguous. My parents launched a campaign, started calling relatives. Luna was dramatic, unstable, after money. Cole made a mistake, but didn't deserve his life ruined. I was being controlled. Half the family bought it. The other half stopped answering. My cousin Jenna called separately one evening. Her voice was shaky. I saw something at the party. Cole was watching Luna all evening, like tracking her. Then I saw him follow her to the building. He waited a minute before going in after her. Will you testify? Long silence. I could hear her breathing. My parents will disown me. That's your choice. But it would help. Another pause. When she spoke again, her voice was stronger. I'll do it. I can't not. Cole's lawyer tried to exclude her testimony. Judge denied it. We also had to postpone the wedding. October came and went while we were buried in legal proceedings. We couldn't think about celebrating anything. Luna cried when we canceled the venue deposit. 3 weeks later, my parents showed up at our apartment unannounced. My mom started before I could close the door. We need to work this out as a family. Cole's sorry, but his lawyer told him not to say it. Luna came out of the bedroom. My mom tried to hug her. Luna stepped back fast. Don't touch me! My mom's face fell. Then she tried the maternal approach. I understand you're confused and upset. Sometimes our memories. Get out. I stepped between them. You have 10 seconds. You wouldn't dare. I pulled out my phone and started dialing 911. She left, but not before saying, You're throwing away your family for a girl. My supervisor at work pulled me aside a few days later. Heard about your situation. Take whatever time you need for court. The prosecutor, Patricia, reviewed everything. Said we had a strong case despite missing footage. But Cole hired an expensive lawyer my parents were funding. Guy filed motion after motion trying to suppress evidence, exclude witnesses, delay trial. My dad sent a letter about the college fund. Cole's portion gone, mine still sitting there. $85,000. Help with Cole's legal defense and I'll sign it all over to you. I sent back one line. Keep it. He showed up at my workplace 2 days later, yelling in the parking lot. Security escorted him off. Luna's principal called her in. We both thought she was getting fired. Instead, the principal said the school would provide paid leave. Her job was secure. Vanessa reached out. We met 40 minutes outside town at a diner. She brought screenshots, text messages from Cole to other women, inappropriate comments. Her hands shook, sliding the phone across the table. I found these 6 months into our marriage, she said. He told me they were jokes, that I was overreacting. I spent 3 years wondering if I was crazy. Will you testify? She was quiet for a long time. When she finally looked up, her eyes were wet. If I do, his family will destroy me. I know. But if I don't, he'll do this to someone else. 3 days later, she called Patricia and agreed to testify. My parents found out. My dad showed up at Vanessa's mother's house trying to pressure her. Started pounding on the door at 9 at night. Her mother called the cops. He got a harassment warning. The prosecutor filed for a protective order. Judge granted it. 500 feet from any witnesses. They started showing up anyway. My mom at the grocery store where Luna shops. In the produce section, pretending to look at avocados, but clearly waiting. Luna didn't report it. Had no proof it wasn't coincidental. And my mom scattered when I arrived. Then Cole tried. Showed up at our apartment with my parents and my Uncle Frank, a pastor. We want to meet with Luna privately, Uncle Frank said, so Cole can apologize properly. Luna doesn't owe him anything. You're interfering with the path to redemption. Get off my doorstep. They left. Uncle Frank called later about praying for my soul. I blocked his number. The reputation campaign escalated. My parents told everyone Luna seduced Cole. Small town dynamics meant the gossip spread. Some of Luna's friends stopped calling. The real ones stayed. My lawyer said the counter-complaint against me was falling apart. Evidence showed I'd intervened in an assault. DA declined to file charges. Preliminary hearing 8 weeks out. Patricia laid out the prosecution's case. Luna's testimony, forensic exam. Torn dress, my testimony. Jenna's testimony, Vanessa's testimony. Cole's lawyer punched holes everywhere. Luna's memory unreliable. Forensic evidence inconclusive. Witnesses biased. Judge ruled sufficient evidence for trial. Set date 4 months out. But Cole's lawyer filed more motions. One landed. Judge agreed photos of my knuckles could be prejudicial to show the prosecution's case since it suggested I was violent. Excluded from our side. Cole's lawyer immediately moved to include them in his defense. Claimed they showed excessive force, that I was the aggressor. Judge allowed it with the reasoning that while the photos weren't probative for establishing the assault itself, they were relevant to the defense theory about the nature of my intervention. Patricia called that night. The knuckle photos ruling isn't ideal, but juries understand protective reactions. Cole's bank put him on unpaid leave. His lawyer tried using it as proof of presumed guilt. Bank said standard protocol. Luna started having nightmares. She'd wake gasping, sometimes screaming. I'd hold her until she remembered where she was. She refused counseling. I can't talk about it more than I already have to. Every time I say it out loud, I'm back in that room. My parents escalated. Called Luna's parents trying to convince them this was blown out of proportion. Luna's dad shut them down. You raised a predator. Don't contact us again. My dad sent a long email about how Luna's family was tearing ours apart. Luna's dad forwarded it to the prosecutor as witness intimidation. The missing footage stayed missing. My lawyer hired a forensics expert who found evidence of deleted files. Someone had accessed the system remotely 2 days after the party and wiped specific timestamps. Venue owner claimed no idea how. Maybe a virus. Nobody believed him. Then Jenna came through with something. She'd been going through her phone photos from the party and found one taken around 7:30. Cole in the background, staring at Luna while she talked to someone else. Luna completely oblivious. Cole's expression was unmistakable. Defense tried to exclude it. Judge allowed it anyway. 3 weeks before trial, Cole's lawyer found some guy willing to lie. Claimed to be Luna's college ex. Said she had a history of making false accusations. Complete fiction. Patricia investigated. Found the guy's criminal record. Restraining orders from 2 different women. She filed an emergency motion to exclude him. Judge granted it and threatened the defense with sanctions. But Luna took it hard. Spent an entire day not speaking. Just sat in bed staring at the wall. I brought her tea around evening. She finally looked at me. I get why people don't report. They make you prove you're a perfect victim. And nobody's perfect. You're the strongest person I know. She gave me this tired smile. I don't feel strong. I feel like I'm drowning. My younger cousin Austin reached out. 22, just graduated with a biology degree. I saw something at the party, he said when we met for coffee. I should have said something then, but I didn't want to cause drama. He'd seen Cole corner Luna near the bathrooms earlier in the evening. Cole had his hand on her arm, standing too close. Luna looked uncomfortable, kept trying to step back. I want to testify. Show the jury Cole was targeting her all night. His parents cut him off when they found out. No more money for med school applications. No car insurance. He moved in with friends, started working 2 jobs. Patricia added him to the witness list. Then Vanessa found something explosive. Documentation from Cole's previous job before the bank. He'd been fired for inappropriate conduct with a female coworker. Company hushed it up with an NDA and severance package. My parents had known, helped him bury it, used their connections to get him the bank job despite the termination. Patricia filed a motion to include it as evidence of prior bad acts. Defense went ballistic. Judge took it under advisement. Cole's lawyer knew it was potentially devastating. Started pushing hard for a plea deal. Patricia told Luna about the offer. Luna sat there processing. What do you think I should do? That's not my call. But if we go to trial, you'll have to testify. Cross-examination will be brutal. The plea means you don't have to go through that. Luna was quiet. Then, if I take the plea, does it go on his record? Yes. As a convicted sex offender. He'd have to register, but not the full charges. No, attempted sexual assault instead of sexual assault. Luna looked at me. What do you think? Whatever lets you sleep at night. She nodded. Turned back to Patricia. I want the trial. I want a jury to hear everything. We were going to trial. 2 weeks before trial, my parents organized a family meeting. Didn't invite us. My cousin David called to warn me. Said it was brutal. My parents brought character witnesses for Cole. His old football coach, a church lady, his former boss from before the bank. They had relatives signing a letter asking the prosecutor to drop charges. Half the family bought it. Other half walked out. Jenna called after. Her parents weren't speaking to her. Her brother called her a traitor. I keep thinking maybe this isn't worth losing everyone, she said. It's your choice. No judgment. But I saw what I saw. I can't pretend I didn't. Austin was in similar shape. Working 2 jobs, sleeping on a friend's couch. Patricia prepped Luna for cross-examination over 3 sessions. Brought in a paralegal to play defense attorney and hit Luna with every possible question. After the 3rd session, Luna came out looking wrecked. They're going to ask about my sexual history, aren't they? Even though the judge said no, Patricia had warned us. They'll try. I'll object immediately, but they'll try to imply things. How do I stop that? You don't. You just answer honestly and trust the jury. Luna didn't sleep that night. Neither did I. 1 week out, someone started following Luna. Same car 3 days in a row. She got the plate. Patricia ran it through police contacts. Came back registered to a private investigation company. My parents had hired them. The cops warned the investigator off. Prosecutor filed another motion. Judge issued another stern warning. Luna broke down that night. I can't take much more of this. The trial hasn't even started, and I'm already destroyed. I held her on the bathroom floor while she sobbed. We took a drive the next day. Just drove with no destination. Ended up at this diner an hour away. Luna ordered pancakes she didn't eat. You remember when we first got engaged? We drove out here to look at a venue. Place was a disaster. Worst carpet I've ever seen. She almost smiled. Everything was so simple then. It'll be simple again. Will it? I didn't know. So I just held her hand across the table. 3 days before trial, judge ruled on the prior job termination. Admissible. Evidence of a pattern was relevant. Defense had fought hard, lost. Cole's lawyer made one more desperate push for a plea deal. Patricia discussed it with Luna again. You don't have to do this. The plea is still on the table. Nobody would blame you. Luna shook her head. I need people to hear what happened. Not a reduced version. The real thing. Night before trial, we sat on the couch, not talking. TV on, but neither of us watching. Do you think we'll win? Luna asked. I don't know. That's honest, at least. She looked at me. If we lose, that's not even a question. She started crying. I don't know what I'll do if he walks. We'll figure it out. Whatever happens. Morning came too fast. Put on my suit. Luna wore a simple gray dress. Drove to the courthouse in silence. Patricia met us outside. Evidence is strong. Trust the process. We walked inside. Courtroom was smaller than I expected. About 50 seats, half filled with people we knew. Jenna, Austin, Luna's parents. On Cole's side, my parents, their supporters, character witnesses. Cole sat at the defense table looking older. Broken nose healed crooked. Scar on his lip visible. But still that entitled posture. Judge entered. Woman in her 50s, gray hair pulled back, sharp eyes. Jury selection took all morning. By lunch, 12 jurors, 2 alternates. 8 women, 4 men. Opening statements after lunch. Patricia went first. Clean and direct. Showed photos of Luna's torn dress. Marks on her shoulder and chest. The locked room with forced entry damage. Explained how I'd intervened to stop an assault. Cole's lawyer was predictable. Claimed Luna had been flirting with Cole. Went into that room willingly. When I showed up, she panicked and fabricated the assault story. Painted me as the real aggressor. Luna's hand was shaking. I squeezed it. Prosecution called the responding officers first. They described the scene. Luna's state. The locked door with the deadbolt torn through the frame. Cole's injuries. Defense tried poking holes. Suggested officers couldn't know what happened before they arrived. It didn't land. Jenna testified about Cole tracking Luna, following her to the building. Defense tried dismissing it as normal party behavior. I've been to plenty of parties, Jenna said firmly. That wasn't normal. One of the women jurors nodded slightly. Austin testified about Cole cornering Luna earlier, standing too close while Luna looked uncomfortable. Day 1 ended. Patricia said it went well, but tomorrow would be harder. We ordered Chinese food. Sat picking at noodles neither of us wanted. Day 2 started with Vanessa. She walked through Cole's controlling behavior during their marriage. The jealousy, the isolation, finding the inappropriate texts. Defense cross-examined hard. Suggested she was bitter, lying for revenge. Vanessa looked the lawyer dead in the eye. I'm grateful for the divorce. It saved me from a dangerous man. Then Patricia dropped the bomb. Evidence of Cole's previous termination, the inappropriate conduct, the NDA, how my parents had known and helped him bury it. Cole's lawyer objected. Too late. Jury heard every word. My parents looked devastated. Then my testimony. I walked through finding them. Every detail. Cole's hand over her mouth. Luna's terror. The torn dress pulled down, his hand groping her. Defense tried painting me as unstable. Suggested I'd been looking for an excuse to hurt Cole. Any man who wouldn't defend his fiancée in that situation isn't worth knowing, I said. Defense brought up photos of my knuckles. Suggested excessive force. I stopped when someone pulled me off. Patricia had warned me during lunch. 2 jurors looked uncomfortable. If they ask again, show some awareness that violence has consequences. On redirect, prosecutor asked if I regretted my actions. I paused. I regret it got to that point. I wish I'd found them sooner, but I don't regret stopping him. Then Luna took the stand. She walked up slowly, took the oath, sat down. She walked through the entire night. Going inside, Cole following. The room, what he said, what he did, locking the door, covering her mouth when she tried to scream, tearing her dress down, groping her chest. How terrified she was. Her voice stayed steady through the initial testimony. Defense cross-examination was brutal. 3 hours. Asking about her clothing, why she went to a private room, why she didn't scream louder, whether I was controlling. Luna answered everything calmly, never wavered. Then the lawyer asked about past relationships. Patricia objected. Judge sustained. He tried asking about her sexual history. Patricia was on her feet. Judge sustained and warned the defense. One more inappropriate question and I'll hold you in contempt. He backed off. Asked if she was after money. Luna actually laughed. A sharp sound. I make my own money teaching kids. I don't need anything from him. The lawyer tried one more angle. Suggested her dress tore during my fight with Cole. Luna pointed out the timeline. Officers photographed her immediately. Medical exam documented everything before I was even separated from Cole. Medical evidence doesn't lie, she said. Even if lawyers try to make it. Judge warned about inflammatory language, but a couple jurors were smiling. Luna stepped down. She'd survived. Day 3. Defense called their character witnesses. Football coach, church lady, former boss, all testified about what a great person Cole was. Patricia didn't attack them, just established none had been at the party. Then Cole took the stand. His lawyer walked him through his version. Luna giving him signals, touching his arm, going inside because she wanted privacy. Things getting physical but consensual. Me bursting in and Luna panicking. Patricia destroyed him on cross. Asked why the door was locked if consensual. He said he didn't lock it. Officer's report clearly stated deadbolt was engaged. Forced entry damage. Asked about the torn dress. He said it ripped when I attacked. Photos showed Luna wore the torn dress before I touched him. Asked why Vanessa left. He fumbled. Asked about the previous job termination. He claimed it was a misunderstanding. Documentation said otherwise. Every answer made him look worse. Sweating. Stumbling. Contradicting himself. Closing arguments were day 4. Patricia connected every piece. Showed how Cole's story didn't match physical evidence, witness testimony, documented history. Cole's lawyer argued reasonable doubt, imperfect memories, family tragedy. Claimed the state was trying to ruin a man's life over allegations. Weak. Jury deliberated 8 hours. We waited in a side room. Luna sat perfectly still. I paced. Patricia checked her phone. Bailiff finally called us back around 6 p.m. Judge asked the foreperson to read it. Guilty. Luna collapsed against me sobbing. I held her while she shook. Behind us, Luna's parents were crying. My parents were silent. Judge thanked the jury. Set sentencing for 3 weeks. We walked out. Reporters tried asking questions. Patricia waved them off. Sentencing came 3 weeks later. Judge gave him 8 years. Eligible for parole after 6 with good behavior, though parole board would ultimately decide. Called his actions predatory. Said he'd abused family trust. Shown 0 genuine remorse. Made it clear the light sentence was due to lack of prior convictions on record, not because the crime wasn't serious. My parents didn't attend sentencing. 3 months after sentencing, Luna and I were trying to build something normal. Different apartment across town, new routines, distance from everything. Luna went to counseling alone at first. Took her 6 weeks to suggest we go together. The sessions were hard. The counselor kept circling back to one question. How did you feel when you found out about the business purchase? I'd found out my dad's consulting business was struggling badly after the trial. Clients left in droves. His business partner wanted out desperately. The partnership agreement had a clause that if either partner wanted to dissolve, they could force a sale of the entire business to a third party if they couldn't agree on a buyout. The partner invoked it. I'd made an offer through a lawyer. Anonymous LLC. Bought the entire business for 60 cents on the dollar. The partner took it immediately. My dad couldn't block it under the partnership terms. How did that feel? The counselor asked Luna. When he told you? Luna was quiet. Relieved, I guess. His parents can't use their connections as leverage anymore. And how else? I don't know. Uneasy sometimes. I looked at her. Uneasy how? Not about you doing it, just about how much satisfaction you get from their downfall. Sometimes I worry the anger is eating you. That hit hard. Sat in my chest like a weight. She's right, the counselor said. Anger like that becomes its own prison. When I took official ownership, first action was filing paperwork showing me as owner. Second was sending my dad a letter informing him his former business now belonged to his disappointment son. He called, incoherent with rage. You stole my legacy. You destroyed yourself by defending Cole. I ruined my life over you. No, you ruined your life over your own choices. I just bought a failing business at market value. I hung up, blocked his number. But Luna's words stayed with me. The satisfaction I'd felt watching my dad spiral. The cold pleasure when my mom got arrested for violating the protective order. Was I becoming someone whose anger was more dangerous than helpful? I called my parents' lawyer 3 weeks later. Set up a meeting, public place. When I told Luna, she looked surprised. You sure about this? No, but I think I need to hear what they have to say. I'm coming with you. My uncle Steve came as referee. We met at a coffee shop in their new suburb 30 minutes away. Small town, quiet streets, massive downgrade. They were already there. Sitting in a corner booth, they looked like they'd aged 15 years in less than one. My dad's hair completely gray. My mom had lost weight, looked almost frail. Not the performative grief from the trial. Real devastation. We sat down. Nobody spoke for a full minute. My mom started crying immediately. My dad stared at his hands. Finally he spoke. Voice rough. We were wrong. About everything. I waited. We let our pride and fear cloud our judgment. We chose the wrong son. We failed Luna. We failed you. We've spent 9 months trying to understand how we became people who defended. He couldn't finish. My mom looked at Luna, voice shaking. I convinced myself he was innocent because accepting the truth meant I'd raised a predator, that I'd failed as a mother. Every choice I made was selfish fear. I tried to gaslight you to protect my own ego. She paused. I'm sorry doesn't fix anything. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know we finally understand. My dad kept going. Buying the business was actually the wake-up call we needed. Losing everything made us confront who we'd become, what we'd actually valued. We'd been hollow people who cared more about appearances than truth. He looked at me. You were right to cut us off, right to take the business, right to choose Luna. His voice cracked. I'm proud of you. I know I've earned zero right to feel that way. I sat there processing. Part of me wanted to believe them, but the memories were still there. My mom suggesting Luna led Cole on. My dad saying blood was thicker than water. Luna spoke first. I appreciate you acknowledging this. That took courage. They both looked hopeful. But acknowledgement isn't the same as amends, she continued. I'll never feel safe around you. The relationship is permanently broken. No amount of apologies changes that. My mom started crying harder. You'll have to live with that, Luna said. Live with knowing you chose your predator son over his victim. Live with knowing you lost your other son in the process. My dad nodded. I understand. I leaned forward. I don't forgive you. Might never forgive you. You'll have to live the rest of your lives knowing what you did. Every time Cole sits in prison, remember you tried to keep him free. Every time Luna has a nightmare, remember you called her a liar. I paused. Taking the business wasn't revenge. It was taking control of my life, refusing to let you have leverage over us anymore. That was true. Truer than the satisfaction part I wasn't ready to admit. You were right that I chose Luna over family, I said. I'd make that choice again every time. But not because blood doesn't matter. Because you proved you weren't family when it counted. I stood up. Luna stood with me. You got your chance to apologize. I heard it. It doesn't change anything. You earned your isolation. You earned every consequence. We left. Steve called later. Said my parents sat there for an hour crying. Do you feel better? Steve asked. No, just done. The anger's still there, but I'm not letting it control me anymore. Luna asked later if I thought they'd actually changed. Maybe. Doesn't matter. Change doesn't erase damage. She nodded. I'm proud of you for facing them. You were right about the anger eating me. I was scared I'd lose you to it. Not because you'd leave, but because you'd become someone I didn't recognize. I pulled her close. Not happening. We sat on the couch. She leaned against me. I had a good day at school today, she said. First time in months where I didn't think about the trial once. This kid named Miguel told me I was his favorite teacher because I let them have dance breaks between math problems. I smiled. High praise. Highest. She was quiet. I think I'm going to be okay. Eventually. Me too. A year after sentencing, Luna and I were finally building something real. The business was steady under the new management I'd hired, and Luna was back to teaching full-time, coming home with stories that sounded like sunlight instead of stress. We bought a small house with a yard and adopted a dog, Murphy, whose only goals in life were treats and chasing squirrels. Cole was still in prison, not doing well from what we heard, but I didn't take satisfaction in it, just noted it. My parents stayed quiet in their suburb, volunteering with a domestic violence organization. Too little too late, but at least something. Family mostly moved on. Jenna and Austin became closer than ever. Vanessa rebuilt her life 3 states away and sent Luna a simple card on the verdict anniversary. Thank you for being brave. Someone at work once asked if I'd gotten revenge. I said no, just consequences. Mostly true. Letting go was slower work, but I had time. We spent more Saturdays at the park watching Murphy bark at leaves while Luna laughed beside me. Remember when everything was complicated? She asked. Some things still were, but not this. Dog, sun, burned coffee, her hand in mine. The rage still showed up sometimes, but less often. The good days finally outnumbered the bad. We weren't perfect or fully healed, but we were alive, together, building something new from what was left. And that was enough. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.